Hey gang, it's me. I told you I'm taking you on my family vacation and get a look at the views that we get to wake up to each and every morning. We're situated here on the Hudson River, right outside of Saratoga Springs, New York. It is absolutely beautiful here. Breathtaking views. It was actually really sunny this morning before the clouds moved in, but nothing can dampen these views. You can see the ski slopes behind me on the mountainside. There are all kinds of hiking trails around here I hope to take you to. Absolutely beautiful stuff. I had a very moving, very deep time of prayer earlier this morning. I'm hoping to bring you some really beautiful scenes from around here. But we have to talk about the latest Biden public appearance a couple of days back, because it's frankly so good. It so perfectly embodies the current state of the Democrat Party. What if I told you the Democrat Party right now as we speak is collapsing right before our very eyes, and Biden's latest public gaffes are just the tip of the iceberg? So while the legacy media is desperately trying to cover up all the chaos that's happening behind the scenes among the Democrats, the reality is simply impossible to ignore, and Biden is making that explicit. The Democrat establishment is in a free fall, out of touch, out of answers. Stick me to the very end of this video, because we're breaking down the data, the headlines, and the shocking truth that the left does not want you to hear. So let's start with Biden himself. If you don't know, just days ago, Biden was actually speaking at a human resource management convention for whatever reason, and he made a rather audacious claim during the Q&A time. Take a look.
We strengthened NATO in a significant way. And I'm getting calls, I'm not going to go into it, I can't, from a number of European leaders asking me to get engaged. I'm not. Get them in place. These things are different. You know, I often ask the question, I ask it to you rhetorically. If America doesn't lead the world, who can? No, not just.
So Biden is now claiming that he's still negotiating with world leaders, particularly European leaders, who are calling him up desperate, trying to get him to stop Trump's unraveling of the liberal international order. Now, of course, this is not true. This is not happening. Biden is doing what he's always done best, which is lie to your face. He's always had a rather, shall we say, ambiguous relationship with the truth. World leaders hardly took Biden seriously when he was president, when he was auto-penning during his naps on the beach. They're obviously not going to be taking him seriously now. But this off-the-cuff comment reveals a much larger pattern and problem for the Democrats as a whole. Biden's senility is a perfect metaphor for the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party as a whole is every bit out of touch with reality, as is Joe Biden. And the data simply doesn't lie. According to a comprehensive poll by Democrat pollster David Shore, based on a staggering 26 million online responses, the Democrat Party is facing its lowest favorability ever. Young voters are fleeing. The working class support is completely collapsed, and even non-white voter margins are vanishing. In fact, over 60% of Democrat voters want new leadership. The party's approval rating has plunged to the low 20s in the national polls. And Democrats, they've lost key ground in key states, with Republicans now dominating battlegrounds once thought relatively safe for the left. And this is all getting, by the way, this is getting reported by the left-wing rag, the New York Times. This is hardly Republican spin. It's a consensus, a growing consensus among Democrat strategists and leaders themselves. As one senior Democrat advisor was reported as saying, this is the deepest hole he has seen for the Democrats in at least 45 years. And it's not just their plunging polls across the country. The party's riven by infighting, power struggles, plummeting morale. In Florida, for example, high-profile departures and public spats have left the party in shambles, and one leader called the state party dead. So their highest-ranking Democrat in the Florida Senate, their Chuck Schumer, just jumped ship. He left the party. He's now independent, as is New York City Mayor Eric Adams, even the DEI for hire White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre. Nationally, Democrats are struggling to find a unifying message. They're struggling to find a leader. The party's split between establishment figures clinging to failed, out-of-date strategies and radical activists demanding even more extreme action. And the result? A fractured base, a loss of trust, and an inability to mount any real opposition to MAGA Republican policies. But it gets worse. Nothing compares to what the Democrats have planned for the future. Wait until you see this.
But first, there is something else the media is trying to hide from you. While corrupt federal elites have been quietly building wealth through cryptocurrency, hardworking American patriots have been left behind. But there's an amazing solution. I want to tell you about Block Trust IRA. They're bringing access to cryptocurrency wealth to real Americans. You all know I'm a big fan of crypto. It's supercharging President Trump's America First economic miracle. And now you can be a part of it. So I partnered with Block Trust IRA because their mission perfectly aligns with President Trump's Make America Great Again agenda, smashing down the barriers between loyal patriots and financial freedom they deserve. Their Animus AI trading platform works 24/7, analyzing market data and executing advanced crypto strategies that are beyond simply the buy and hold strategy, like helping true American patriots build impressive wealth in Trump's historic economic boom. There's a reason their system was named the #1 crypto technology platform by Bitcoin Magazine from over 1,500 global competitors. Whether you're a teacher, truck driver, small business owner, or retiree watching inflation eat away your 401k, Block Trust IRA's advanced Animus AI gives red-blooded Americans the same advantages as those coastal elites. So right now, their clients are seeing over 250% returns on their investments. You heard that right, 250% returns. And with military-grade security, investments are protected by up to $200 million in insurance. So what are you waiting for? Visit TurleyTalksCrypto.com and find out how they can help you join the Trump Crusade financial revolution that's finally giving forgotten Americans access to the greatest crypto wealth opportunity in history. For a limited time, they're offering my viewers up to $2,500 in bonus crypto when you open up an account. This is amazing stuff, gang. Do not wait on this. Crypto created 80,000 new millionaires last year. Why not you next? Visit TurleyTalksCrypto.com. That's TurleyTalksCrypto.com, making retirement great again.
Perhaps the most disturbing development here, the recent reports that left-wing activists are telling Democrat lawmakers to, quote, prepare for violence to stop Trump, with some saying there needs to be blood. This isn't just fringe talk. House Democrats themselves are reporting that their base is demanding aggressive, even violent opposition to the Trump administration. And I would argue that this escalation is a direct result of the party's total desperation and lack of direction. When you can't win at the ballot box, the temptation to resort to chaos grows. In other words, just burn the whole thing down. Remember, because they've been locked out of power, the Democrats really only have two resorts, as it were: tyranny and terrorism. So judicial tyranny and all the nationwide injunctions that were handed down by rogue judges in an effort to stop Trump by usurping executive power, and what I call Tesla terrorism, burning Teslas, defacing Tesla dealerships, and of course that morphed into the LA riots with all the illegals flying Mexican flags on top of burning cars. These have been their only two options, tyranny and terrorism. And unfortunately for the Democrats, the Supreme Court they have nuked their judicial tyranny. Nationwide injunctions are now officially dead. And so what's the only thing they have left? So this is a very dangerous moment, I believe, for our nation, and a very clear sign that the Democrats can no longer be trusted with power ever again. So what does all of this mean? Well, the Democrat Party is collapsing, and it's collapsing under the weight of its own contradictions. It's collapsing under a leadership vacuum, right? They obviously have no clear, effective leader, just finger pointing, blame shifting, and the like. They're collapsing under a loss of core voters. So their working class voters are leaving, non-white voters are leaving, young voters are leaving in droves. They're collapsing under very dangerous rhetoric with calls of violence from their party's own base, which more and more alienates them from the common sense consensus. And they're collapsing under out-of-touch elites, with Biden's comments simply being a metaphor for just how disconnected the Democrat Party as a whole is from reality. So for us, this is an amazing moment, a moment where our political enemies are literally destroying themselves. I know there's lots of concerns about the Trump, Elon, infighting and just the whole Epstein files disaster that have been Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, but that does not even come close to comparing to the very real implosion that's happening to the Democratic Party as we speak. And no one embodies that implosion more than good old Sleepy Joe. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. I'm going to take in some more sites, and I hope to bring you with me. God bless.